after 1 year carnivore, pork, beef, chicken, dairy, eggs, homocysteine is 16. Why and how to lower? That's quite, you may have some sort of methylation issue. So I would basically, to lower that, I would get onto choline, and I would be taking for the next couple of months 3 grams of choline, and then after 6 months go and get yourself tested. So do that test, because that's the sort of level that we find amongst the vegetarians. The vegans used to be in the 20s in a lot of the studies that I've looked at, and most of the SAD dieters are in the sort of area between 12 and 16, or sometimes a bit higher than that as well, up to 20, depending. And it's only low carb people that tend to be below 10, and the ones that are the most strict tend to be below 7. The way I get around my lack of strictness: do you drink? Are you a drinking man? That could be a problem as well. Could be stuffing up your methylation by drinking. So you're a young man, Tom, do you drink? So yes, that would be additional information that I would need to know. Oops. But that seems quite high. So it seems definitely there is some sort of methylation. The only other thing that I can think of that could actually cause it is oxalate dumping. Are you having any oxalate dumping? Sometimes people have oxalate dumping not through the kidneys, so they don't notice any kidney stones or any issues like that. It sometimes may be coming out of the skin, and they're just getting a bit of scratchiness on their skin, but they're not getting any internally. It's just the sweating it out. And so they don't really notice. But if you get any roughness on your skin, that's definitely oxalate. And if it's oxalate, it's depleting B6. And if it's depleting B6, it's affecting your methylation. If you've got MTHFR and you're actually losing, the folate cycle can't work without B6. So if you're depleting B6, that could explain your methylation problem and then your high homocysteine problem. And as I said earlier, when I was talking about choline can fix that pathway. So, and also spare taurine, spare methionine for Sammy, and also spare folate and B12. So it's got advantages taking a choline supplementation. So consider a choline supplementation, I would say, at this stage. And that should correct the issue. But you need to find out whether you've got an oxalate issue as well. Could be. Homocysteine can be one of those things for a lot of reasons, can be elevated. So I usually look at a number of markers, and if I see certain markers are not that high, and then homocysteine is really high, I start thinking about things like, oxalate dumping, B vitamin depletion, things of that sort that will have an effect on the methylation and detoxification pathways that can actually, they interact with each other. And so I'm going, maybe that's an issue. So an easier way of actually also doing it, if you're not, take a P5P, B6 supplement, but in the active form, which is P5P. So if you Google a supplement, P as for Paul, 5 as for 5, and P for Paul, P5P. And just on iHerb, there's There's a couple of pretty good brands there that are clean. They've got no other crap in them. And you take one of those, that should restore your folate cycle in terms of methylation, and that should bring the homocysteine level down. So you can experiment, is what I'm saying. You can do a B12, and then if that corrects it and your homocysteine starts coming down without choline, without supplementing choline, that's if you want to experiment. Immediately that would tell you you've got a B6 depletion. And the most likely culprit for a B6 depletion is oxalate.